There was a moment of silence. In that instant, on the threshold between the eternal and the temporal, you were given to drink from the waters of the river Lethe. The ancient Greeks knew this river well. Its waters are not sweet. They are thick and dark, loaded with the weight of absolute oblivion. By drinking them, the soul becomes intoxicated, loses its name, loses its stellar lineage, and falls, heavy as a stone, into the density of the flesh. What you call life is not an awakening. It is the continuation of that induced dream. You have been told a false story. From pulpits and academies, they have told you that the history of humanity is an upward line, a progression from the ignorant beast to the civilized man. They have lied to you today. Human history is not an evolution. It is a fall. It is a vertiginous descent from the sovereignty of the spirit to the slavery of matter. You are a king who has forgotten his crown and now gives thanks for the crumbs that fall from the table of his own servants. You believe you see the real world around you, but what your eyes perceive is not reality. It is a stage set, a shadow theater projected on a stone wall to keep you distracted. You have lived your entire existence within a labyrinth of mirrors, confusing reflections with the truth and fearing monsters that only exist because you give them life with your fear. Amnesia is so deep, so perfect, that you have come to love your chains. You have come to defend the cell, decorating it with trinkets and calling it home. This text before your eyes is no ordinary book. Do not look here for comfort or a pat on the back or empty promises of superficial happiness now. The world is full of manuals to decorate the cell and make it more comfortable. This is not one of them. This is not a manual. It is a hammer. Its purpose is to strike the mirror until it breaks. Its purpose is to be the bitter antidote against the waters of Lethe. I must warn you, knowledge has a price today. There is a reason why this knowledge has been called forbidden for millennia. Not because it is illegal, but because it is dangerous to the world's sleep. The system that governs this reality depends on your ignorance to function. It feeds on your unconscious submission. In the moment you remember, it fails. That is why the guardians of the veil have hidden these keys in symbols, in myths and in allegories, fearful that the sleeper might wake up and shake the foundations of their false temple. If you decide to continue, you must know that there is no turning back. Your eyes can never close with the same ingenuity now. The daily world, with its trivialities and small dramas, will lose its flavor. You will feel a deep strangeness, the loneliness of one who walks awake among sleepwalkers. You will see the threads that move those around you. You will see the cold machinery behind human passion. You will see the prison today, but also, and for the first time in eons, you will see the exit door. The alchemy of the soul does not consist of acquiring something new, but of burning away everything you are not, until only the pure gold of your essence remains. We are going to start the fire. We are going to dissolve the lie now. We are going to remember what you swore to forget. The river of oblivion flows through your veins, but the fire of truth burns in your chest. Are you willing to wake up, even if the light hurts your eyes? The choice is yours, and the moment is here. Take the step or return to the dream forever today. Chapter 1, The Silver Sentinel, The Mystery of the Moon. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. But one gives life and heat, while the other only returns a cold reflection, the spectrum of a stolen light. Do not look at the night star with the devotion of lovers, but with the caution of a prisoner observing the watchtower. Since the beginning of time, humanity has looked up at the night sky and sighed at the pale sphere hanging over our heads. Poets have sung to it, and lovers have sworn fidelity under its mantle. We have been taught to see it as a mother, a faithful companion dancing around the earth in an eternal cosmic waltz. But all that is part of the spell. The moon is not a mother. The moon is a shackle. In the oldest texts written before official history was sanitized by the victors, there is talk of a time when the moon was not there. The elders of the Chibcha tribe in Colombia and the Greek Arcadians remember a Proserpine time, a time before the moon. Then the mind of man was free. Then she arrived, dragged, placed, anchored, and with her arrival the great sleep descended upon humanity. In this first chapter, we must commit the sacrilegious act of tearing the romantic mask from the face of the night. We must observe the silver sentinel as what it truly is, a colossal mechanism designed to keep us docile and asleep. The geometry of the impossible. In a universe of chaos, finding a key that fits perfectly into a lock is no accident. It is proof that the key was manufactured for that lock. When the moon stands between the Earth and the Sun, it covers the solar disk with millimetric precision. Astronomers call it a cosmic coincidence. To the seeker, it is a signature of intentionality. When space missions struck the lunar surface, seismographs recorded something that chilled scientists' blood. The moon rang like a bell for hours. A solid body muffles a blow, but a hollow sphere resonates. The terrifying conclusion is that the moon might be hollow. It might be a station, an ancient ark camouflaged as a natural satellite. She only shows us one face. She never turns around. She rotates with such perfect synchronization that she always hides her back from us. What sentinel turns its back on those it watches? None. Her pale eye is always fixed on us. It is the perfect watchtower. The all-seeing eye in the night of human consciousness. 2. The magnet of the blood. The moon does not watch us with lenses. It controls us with magnetism. If the moon has the titanic force to move the oceans, dragging millions of tons of water from one coast to another, what makes you think it does not move you? You are water. Your body is a chalice of salty fluids identical in composition to the primordial sea. The word lunatic is not a metaphor. It is the ancient recognition that the human mind fractures under its influence. The moon pulls your internal waters, creating tides in your blood. Since emotion is energy moving through bodily fluids, the moon dictates your emotional climate. You believe they are your feelings, but you are being magnetized. The moon acts as an immense electromagnet that excites the astral body of humanity. It keeps us in a state of constant reactivity. As long as we are slaves to our fluctuating emotions, we are slaves to the moon. She wants us unstable. A human being in peace whose inner sea is calm is a human being who cannot be milked. Through the harvest of the essence. Why place an artificial station to alter our emotions? The answer is as old as it is terrible: food. In the inner circles of the East, it is taught that man is food for the moon. Everything in the universe eats and is eaten. You are also livestock, but not for your flesh. You are harvested for your subtle energy. When a human experiences intense, dense emotion, terror, lust, hate, despair, they emanate a specific vibration. For us, it is suffering. For the entities operating from the sublunary sphere, it is ambrosia. The moon acts as an immense collector. It gathers the psychic emanations of suffering humanity and transmits them to the shadows. Wars do not break out by chance. They follow precise astrological calendars as mass harvest rituals. When fear grips nations, the moon shines stronger in the etheric plane. She is feeding. We are kept in a perpetual cycle of drama because a sovereign humanity produces no louche, the suffering energy they need to sustain themselves. Hy-Vee, the light of the dead. The sun is the father, the generator, the source of life, the gold. The moon is the mirror, the cold reflection, the spectral light. The silver. Moonlight is the light of a corpse. It is solar light that has hit a dead rock and bounced toward us, losing its vitality. It illuminates but deforms. It is the realm of Maya, illusion. Many spiritual seekers fall into the trap of worshipping the moon, believing they worship the sacred feminine. But the true sacred feminine is the earth itself, the generating mother. The moon is the imposter. She is the cold, sterile stepmother who mimics the mother. There is no life there, it is a desert of grey dust. V, the sublunary sphere, the cage's ceiling. In Hermetic cosmology, the sublunary sphere is the quarantine zone. The ancients believed that souls upon death had to cross the spheres to return to the source. But the moon is the first guardian. It acts as a fishing net for souls. If the soul is still weighted by lunar attachments and unresolved emotions, it is repelled back. It is recycled. This is what we call forced reincarnation. It is not a learning opportunity, it is a failure in the escape. The moon recycles us so we continue producing energy. She erases our memory and returns us to the fold with a new body, ready for more drama. We are Sisyphus and the moon is the gravity that rolls the stone down. Phi transmuting silver into gold. How do we free ourselves? We cannot pull the moon from the sky, but we can become immune to its spell through internal alchemy. The lunar influence enters us through water, uncontrolled emotions. To close the door, we must apply the solar principle, fire and consciousness. We must dry our waters and achieve true equanimity. This means becoming non-reactive. The spiritual warrior observes his emotions, but does not drown in them. When sudden sadness arrives, he does not say, "I am sad." He says, "The moon is transmitting, but I am not that." By observing without identifying, you cut the power cord. You become indigestible. You become invisible to the silver eye. Sevte, the dark night and the dawn. Next time you see the silver disk, do not give it your power. Do not ask it for wishes or offer adoration. Look at it with the cold eyes of one who recognizes their jailer. She is the lock of the planetary prison, but you have the key. And the key is not made of silver. It is made of gold forged in the furnace of your own heart. The mystery of the moon is the first test of awakening. Are you able to see the trap even when wrapped in poetic light? If you can feel the invisible threads pulling at your blood, you have taken the first step out of the herd. You have stopped being a sheep bleating at the moon to become the lion that walks untouched by its light. Chapter 2. The Demon of the Mind, the Invisible Parasite. They gave you your mind. It is not yours. It is a foreign installation. It is the predator speaking to you, imitating your own voice, so that you believe you are the one desiring your own destruction. Man is a magical being surrounded by an invisible jailer who forces him to look at the mud, fearful that he might look up and remember he has wings. Close your eyes for a moment. Listen. Do not listen to the noises from the street, nor the wind, nor your breath. Listen to the noise behind your eyes, that incessant dialogue, that perpetual narration that judges, fears, relives the past with bitterness, and projects the future with terror. That voice telling you you are worthless or you are alone. All your life you have assumed a terrible and false truth. You believed that voice is you. You believed those dark thoughts sprout from your own nature, that your mind is a chaotic garden where these weeds grow by default. You have been taught to call it conscience or ego. But the ancient seers knew the truth. That voice is not you now. Those thoughts are not yours. You are being spoken. There is an intruder in the house of your spirit, an uninvited guest who sat on the throne of your perception millennia ago and now dictates your reality. In this chapter, we name the unnameable. We light the torch to reveal the invisible parasite that feeds on your light today. The primordial infection. In ancient Sumerian stones and Gnostic codices, the same story is told. They say that in the dawn of humanity, man was a complete being of infinite perception, connected with the all, capable of miracles. But then, the shadows came. The Toltecs called them the flyers. The Gnostics called them archons, rulers. They came as a frequency. They found the human being overflowing with energy and saw a source of food. To feed on us, they needed to reduce us. A predator cannot control a prey that is as intelligent as it is. So they gave us their mind. This is the great forbidden revelation. The mind you use daily, which fears and envies, is the mind of the predator today. They installed their own operating system to turn us into docile copies of themselves. Through this foreign mind, they injected their own weaknesses, greed, fear of scarcity, and eternal dissatisfaction. The natural human being is serene. The infected human is voracious and anxious. It is the fever of Wetiko operating through us now. We are a possessed species. Look at the senseless wars and the systematic destruction of our home, the earth. Is that human nature? No, it is the symptom of an infection. We are replicating the behavior of a cosmic parasite that has replaced our original connection to the source with a software of constant survival and fear today. 2. The ventriloquist's strategy. The mind demon's greatest cunning is its camouflage. If the parasite presented itself with a demonic voice, you would rebel. You would recognize the enemy. Instead, it uses the ventriloquist's strategy. It imitates your inner voice perfectly. It uses the pronoun I am a failure. I hate this person. By using I, it deceives you now. It makes you sign the contract and appropriate the thought. You believe you are the one thinking, when you are actually tuning in to a radio station broadcasting toxicity 24 hours a day. The parasite suggests a doubt, and you embrace it, water it with your attention, and turn it into your reality. You do the dirty work for it today. If you knew the truth, you would say, it's the parasite trying to provoke me. But since you believe it's you, you enter the spiral. The parasite doesn't need to force you, it only needs to suggest. You then generate the suffering it needs for dinner. You are the one cooking the meal that the intruder will eventually consume now. 30. Psychic cannibalism, Wetiko. The concept of Wetiko describes a cannibal spirit that eats souls. It is the sickness of extreme selfishness. It makes a man accumulate more wealth than he can spend in 1,000 lives while his brothers starve. For the ancients, this is not business cunning, it is madness. It is possession. The parasite infects us with separation now. It makes us believe we are islands. It whispers, if you win, I lose, you have to crush the other. This predatory mentality is the heritage of the Archon. They are cosmic parasites disconnected from the divine source. By installing their mind in us, they turn us into mini-parasites. We become energy vampires to one another today. We create drama and humiliate others just to feel a brief jolt of energy, a false sense of power. We are replicating the behavior of our jailers. This eat or be eaten reality is not our divine heritage. It is a distorted projection forced upon us to ensure we never experience the true unity that would set us free from them now. IV, the food of the shadows. Why do they do this? Food. Just as the moon harvests collective tides, the mind demon harvests individual energy. But it is a specific gourmet. The energy of peace, love, and joy is too high in frequency. It burns them. They need low and dense frequencies. They need the vibration of fear, guilt, shame, and depression today. The parasite is a farmer, and you are the field. Its job is to ensure you are constantly producing toxic emotions. That is why a shameful memory suddenly hits you when you are at peace. The louche, negative energy, in your tank has dropped, and the parasite is hungry. It stabs you with a painful thought, so you react and serve dinner now. The chronic anxiety of modern humanity is not an evolutionary flaw. It is an industrial factory running at maximum capacity. We are kept on the threshold of survival, always worried, to ensure a constant supply of etheric food. Our stress is their sustenance, and our collective panic is a banquet for those who rule from the shadows today. V, the guardian of the threshold. The mind demon also acts as the guardian of the threshold to keep you in the matrix. Every time you try to wake up or seek forbidden knowledge, the parasite attacks. It makes you sleepy or gives you a headache. It says, this is nonsense. Go back to work. Look at the black screen. It uses spiritual fear to keep you in line now. Observe truth seekers. Just when they are about to make a breakthrough, they suffer a crisis. They get sick or fall into depression. It is not bad luck. It is a defense mechanism of the system. The parasite tightens the screws so you don't jump the fence. It knows that if you discover your power, it starves. Its existence is ignorance today. Say the silence of the witness, the exorcism. How do we free ourselves from an enemy in our own head? You cannot fight it with the mind, for the mind is its terrain. The only weapon the parasite fears is the silence of the witness. It consists of a radical act of dissociation, realizing that you are the one listening to the voice, not the voice itself. This is spiritual war now. When the demon whispers poison, do not react, do not argue. Simply observe the thought as if watching a rat cross the street and say, I see you, I know that is not me, I'm not buying your goods. This sovereign indifference is lethal to the parasite. It needs your reaction. If you observe it coldly, you deprive it of energy and light today. The parasite will scream louder and try to scare you with more horrible images. But if you maintain your position as the silent witness, anchored in your motionless center, the parasite must retreat. It has to look for easier prey. By refusing to identify with the noise, you starve the intruder until it no longer has the strength to speak now. Seventh, the alchemy of non-doing. The ancients spoke of non-doing. The doing of the world is routine and mechanical reaction, following the parasite's script. Non-doing is breaking the pattern. If the parasite expects you to get angry when insulted and you smile, you have broken the spell. If it expects fear and you feel curiosity, you have created a hole in the net today. Unpredictability is freedom. The mind demon operates through rigid routines. It is a machine with no creativity. You, the spirit, are pure creativity. Each time you respond with love to hate or calm to chaos, you demonstrate your divine origin. You show that the true master has recovered control of the house from the intruder now. First, the recovery of the temple. Your mind is a sacred temple profaned by thieves. The whip to drive them out is your will. This cleansing is a constant discipline, separating your true essence from imposed programming. Some days you will fall, but do not blame yourself. Guilt also belongs to the parasite. Simply get up and return to your post as the sentinel now. The parasite is ultimately a coward. It only has power if you give it. It is a shadow with no substance. You are the black sun, the source of real power. The moment you declare your sovereignty with absolute authority, "This is my mind, and I rule here," the intruder begins to wane. You have seen the internal jailer. The cage is visible today. Chapter 3. The Feast of the Gods, the Harvest of Suffering. Look at the shepherd who tends his flock. He provides shelter against the storm, defends them from wolves, and leads them to the greenest pastures. The sheep, in its innocence, believes the shepherd loves it. The sheep is unaware that the shepherd protects it not out of love, but because the day of shearing or slaughter is approaching. As it is above, so it is below. And just as man disposes of the beast, the gods dispose of man. There is a universal law written in the emerald tablets and the bones of the earth. Everything that lives needs to feed. Life is a fire, and fire requires fuel. The flower drinks sunlight. The wolf tears the flesh of the deer. Man eats them all. We have placed ourselves at the top of the pyramid. We believe we are the final predator. We walk the earth with the arrogance of those who have no natural enemies, but that arrogance is the fruit of our blindness. If you lifted the veil, you would scream in terror. You would see that you are not at the top, you would see that you are in the middle. Above your head exist vast, ancient, and hungry beings, for whom you are not a king but livestock, for whom your cities are not civilizations but pens, for whom your wars are not disasters but feasts. The earth is a farm, and we are the harvest. This chapter explores the hidden function of this plane of existence. It is biological and raw. The alchemy of vital transmutation. To understand what the gods eat, we must understand the alchemy of life. The universe is not matter, it is vibration. When a living being experiences an intense emotion, it is taking neutral energy and coloring it with a specific frequency. It is distilling an essence. A stadium full of terror creates a dense, sticky cloud rising to the sky. In nature, nothing is wasted. If there is food, there is a diner. That emotional emanation charged with vital force is ambrosia. It is a high-potency nectar. The beings that inhabit the folds of reality, called archons, lack a generating divine spark. They are cold, sterile shadows that need external heat to subsist on us. They feed on our psychic atmosphere. And just as we prefer cooked meat to raw, they have very specific culinary preferences. They live in the folds of what we call reality, harvesting the energy we emit through our nervous systems. We are batteries for beings that cannot generate their own light, existing only by consuming ours today. Betud, the taste of terror. Why don't they feed on our love? It's a matter of frequency and density. Love and joy are light, expansive, and volatile. They are like gold vapor, tending to return to the original source. They burn shadow entities. Conversely, the energy of fear, pain, and despair is heavy. It is alchemical lead. It stays stuck to the earth's surface. It is easy to harvest and, above all, intoxicating. Human terror contains a load of etheric adrenaline that acts as a potent drug for these entities. Human suffering is the aged wine of the archons. That is why the world is designed as it is. If benevolence ruled, history would not be a river of blood. Peace is just a pause. A third, the engineers of chaos. These beings are not passive collectors. They are active farmers. They cultivate suffering through social engineering and mental manipulation. From birth, you are taught competition and fear of your neighbor. Religions are created to make you feel guilty for being born. Guilt is a delicious, slow-cooked food that lasts a lifetime. Borders are created so you hate those on the other side. And when the harvest is insufficient, great feasts are organized. We call them world wars. To us, they are tragedies. To them, they are harvest festivals. Millions of souls are released violently. The etheric sky over a battlefield darkens with swarms of entities feasting. Human leaders are often nothing more than farm foremen. Consciously or not, they serve the lords of shadow. They orchestrate crises and collapse economies. They believe they do it for power or money, but they do not see the threads. They do not see that they are puppets used to squeeze the juice out of humanity until they too are eaten. Feed daily vampirism. A war is not necessary to feed them. The harvest is daily. Every time you turn on the box of shadows one screens and see news designed to scare you, you are being milked. The fear of disease, poverty, or the other. Every time you feel that knot in your stomach, you are expelling vital energy. Your light spills out of you today. You feel exhausted and empty because they have drained you. They have passed by with the bucket and milked your essence. Modern mass events, stadiums or dissonant concerts, are rituals of extraction. The mass delivers its energy to a focal point, and through that point the energy is channeled upward into the open maws of the invisible. V, the farm of sorrows. The Gnostics were very clear. The world is a corpse, and whoever eats it eats death. They said this realm is the domain of the demiurge, a false, blind god who believes he is the sole creator. This demiurge and his archons have created a closed system of predation. They have made us believe that suffering is noble to keep us docile. Suffer in this life and be rewarded in the next. What a perfect lie. By sacralizing pain, they ensure the sheep accepts the knife. Chronic suffering doesn't elevate the spirit. It crushes and densifies it, making it tastier for the parasite. True spirit is bliss and creation. Any doctrine asking you to suffer is written by the farmers. The becoming inedible, the strategy of bitterness. How do we escape? We cannot kill the gods, but we can change our flavor. You must become bitter to the Archon's palate. You must become poisonous to them. What is poison to the shadow? Light. What is poison to the parasite of fear? Love and sovereignty. When you refuse to be afraid, you break the feeding contract today. When you refuse to hate and instead feel distant compassion for ignorance, you deprive the Archon of its feast. The Archon approaches expecting the acid taste of hate and finds the golden frequency of understanding. It recoils. It cannot eat that. High vibration is a biological and spiritual survival strategy to build a fire armor. Sevete, the fast of the gods. Imagine if humanity decided to stop feeding the beast. If we turned off the screens of fear and stopped going to the wars of tyrants. If we responded to terror with a collective laugh. The heavens would shake. The farmers would panic. A famine would occur in the Olympus of shadows. They would weaken and lose their control now. That is the true revolution. It is not fought with weapons, for weapons spill blood and blood is their food. It is fought with the state of being. It is fought by declaring, "My energy is mine. My pain transmutes into wisdom, not food for you. My fear transmutes into attention, not a feast for you." Refuse to be livestock today. Fauti, the inner guardian of the threshold. Be alert. When you become inedible, the farm will try to season you again with crises and provocations. When a misfortune occurs, observe it with coldness. Ask yourself, who wants to eat today? And deny the dish. Handle the physical problem, but do not surrender the emotion. Tell them, today you shall not dine at my table. Eventually they will stop coming. Predators are opportunists. They go for easy prey. They do not want to fight a solar being that burns to the touch. In that space of peace, you can begin to cultivate your own garden, no longer as a slave, but as a gardener. You reclaim your energy and focus to build your own sovereign reality now. Titers, from sheep to lion. Knowledge of the human farm is hard to digest. It shatters our narcissism. But it is necessary. Only by knowing you are prey can you stop behaving like one. The sheep bleats and waits for the shepherd. The lion waits for no one. The lion walks alone. The lion is not food. You have discovered the secrets of the moon and suffering. The pillars of the prison are being exposed. But much remains. Now that we know they drain our energy, where is our memory stored? If our minds are erased at death, where is the record of what we are? The answer is not in the brain. It is in the blood, and specifically in the water that composes us. We move deeper into the mystery. Chapter 4, The Liquid Library, The Secret of Water. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Before there was earth, before there was light, before the first breath was exhaled, there was water. It is not a simple element. It is the womb of eternity, the mirror where the Creator looked at himself and remained trapped in his own beauty. Whoever controls water controls memory. Look at the glass on your table. You have been taught it is an inert substance. H2O, a simple biological necessity to lubricate the body's machinery. They have lied to you. What you see before you is not a thing. It is a being. It is the oldest and wisest organism on this planet. This is not a planet of earth, it is a planet of water. The ancient alchemists knew what modern science is only beginning to suspect. Water has memory. Water does not forget. Every drop you drink has been here since the beginning of time. It has been rain in Jurassic forests, blood in a king's veins, a tear on a widow's face. And it remembers all of it. Water is the liquid library. It is the universal recorder. Everything it touches, hears, or feels remains printed in its crystalline structure forever. And you are a skin bag full of this ancient water. You are a walking book, written in invisible ink, carrying the memories of the world in your own blood. Your fluids are the living archive of your existence today. By the mystery of the primordial substance, water defies all known laws of physics. It should be a gas at room temperature, but it is liquid. It expands when it freezes, while everything else contracts. It climbs trees against gravity. It behaves as if it had a will of its own. Tales of Miletus said, "Everything is water." He was being literal. Water is the bridge today. It is the medium between the world of spirit and the world of matter. When spirit wants to incarnate, it needs water. It cannot anchor in dry stone. Water acts like a magnetic tape or a liquid crystal. Imagine water as a million tiny geometric mirrors. When you speak or feel near it, those mirrors rearrange into an invisible mandala now. If the emotion is love, water creates a perfect hexagonal geometry. If the emotion is hate or fear, its structure breaks and becomes asymmetrical. This is the physics of vibration. Water listens, and most importantly, water obeys. It records the frequency of your environment and your thoughts, transforming its very essence for you today. Via the interior ocean, your blood is the sea. Your body is essentially a marine aquarium. Your blood has the same salinity as the primordial ocean. You are 70% to 90% water. Your bones and muscles are just the container. The true entity is the water within. If water records emotions, what is recorded in you? Think of the fear, anger, and sadness you have swallowed lately now. Every vibration was absorbed by your fluids. It was recorded in your blood and cerebrospinal fluid. You are drinking your own poison. Chronic disease is often the result of informing your body's water with messages of death and tension. Your cells are swimming in a toxic sea created by the information you have projected upon them today. You have turned your temple into a stagnant swamp. The water in your body remembers traumas your conscious mind has forgotten. That is why the body aches and anxiety returns. The liquid library keeps playing the old song of pain over and over until you decide to change the record and inform your waters with a new healing frequency now. Throw it dead water, the crime of the pipe. Ancient people venerated springs, knowing water must move in spirals and vortices. Living water is full of energy and structure. It is medicine. But we have forced water into straight lines, kilometers of darkness in lead or plastic pipes at right angles. Water hates the straight line. By forcing it so, we kill its spirit today. The water from your tap is dead water. It is traumatized water that has lost its geometry. It is a liquid corpse. We fill it with chlorine and fluoride, killing its life. Then we bottle it in plastic, suffocating it under fluorescent lights. When you drink it, your cells do not truly recognize this unstructured substance now. Your body must spend immense vital energy to resurrect this water before using it. We drink death to maintain life. Dead water, lacking structure, is unable to sustain high consciousness. It is perfect for a society of zombies. A population drinking dead water remains spiritually asleep and disconnected from intuition today. If the ritual of blessing, true magic. Here lies the secret the Archons fear. You have the power to resurrect water. You don't need expensive machines. You need your intention and consciousness. Since water is a mirror, if you show it gratitude or love, it rearranges instantly. In nanoseconds, broken molecules form sacred geometries. Dead water becomes an elixir now. This is the secret behind holy water and healers who cure with a glass of water and a prayer. It is advanced vibratory technology. When you hold a glass of water, you are performing a data transfer. Your hands print information into the liquid. If you tell it, "I love you" or "thank you," you are rewriting its internal code today. You are erasing the memory of the pipe and inserting a program of life. When you drink that charged water, the information enters you and speaks to your DNA. It begins to rewrite the liquid library of your own body. Drinking water consciously is the fastest way to deprogram from the matrix and commune with the divine now. Via the blood of the lineage, liquid karma. Blood is water with iron and magnetized water. In your blood lies the memory of your entire lineage. Your ancestors live in your blood. Their fears, wars, and traumas float in your bloodstream as latent information. Sometimes you feel a fear or sadness that is not yours. It is the memory of your grandfather or mother today. Modern science calls this epigenetics, but it is liquid karma. Are we condemned to repeat their history? No. We are the alchemists of our own blood. By changing the vibration of our internal water through conscious thought and elevated emotion, we purify the blood. We heal backwards. We release the ancestors from their pain now. When you heal, you purify the bloodline. The red water becomes clear. You stop being a victim of the past to become the founder of a new lineage. By informing your blood with sovereignty and peace, you break the chains of inherited trauma and offer a clean slate to those who will come after you in the physical world today. Fachi, the flood and the cleansing. The Great Flood is a metaphor for what you must do with yourself, an interior flood. You need to wash the dirt from your psyche and body. This is done through conscious crying. Tears are not just salt water. They release stress toxins. Never repress them. They are the river overflowing to clean the shore of your soul today. Consider also the ritual bath. Showering should be a sacred act of auric cleansing. As water falls on your head, visualize it as liquid light washing away mental parasites and the world's exhaustion. Water resets you by carrying away electromagnetic static. The baptism happens every morning when you emerge as a new being now. Seventh, listening to the message. If you want the truth about your spiritual state, ask your water. Does your body feel fluid and light like a running river, or heavy like a swamp? Rigidity and tension are signs of water crystallized in patterns of resistance. They show you are clinging to old grudges. Water wants to flow. To cling is to die. To let go is to live today. Be like water, said the Taoist masters. Water is soft but overcomes rock. It has no shape but takes all shapes. It always seeks the lowest place, humility, and that is why all rivers flow to it. By emulating the qualities of water, you move through the world with grace and power, without offering a surface for the enemy to strike now. Feki, connection with the Akasha. The water in your body is quantumly connected to all water on the planet. There is no separation. The water of your tear and the water of the Antarctic Ocean are the same consciousness. Through water, you are connected to everything that lives. This is the basis of telepathy. If you purify your water, you become a clear antenna today. You start to remember things you haven't lived. You access the universal liquid library, the Akashic records. Knowledge is not in dry books. It is in the water. Treat water with reverence. Bless it before it touches your lips. It will reveal secrets kept since the dawn of time. Without it, you are dust. With it, you are a god now. Chapter 5. The Wheel of Samsara, the Trap of the False Light. And I saw souls ascending like columns of smoke toward a great mouth of white light. They went singing, weeping with joy, believing they were returning to the Father's home. They did not see the threads dragging them. They did not see that the light was not the door to heaven, but the mouth of a vast net. The moth flies toward the flame. The fear of death is the shadow that haunts every man born of woman. We have built cathedrals, and whispered prayers in the dark to appease the terror of that final threshold. We have been promised that if we are good, eternal rest awaits us. But the initiate knows a blood-chilling truth. Death is often just the restart of the cycle now. For millennia, Eastern traditions have spoken of the wheel of samsara, the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. They have sold us reincarnation as a school to polish the diamond of the soul. But look at the world. Does it look like a school where students graduate, or a prison where inmates repeat the same crimes for centuries? If it were a school, we would remember the lessons, but they erase our memory. A school where the student's memory is wiped before every exam is not a place of teaching. It is a place of exploitation. In this chapter, we will unveil the final mechanism of the human farm, the trap waiting at your last breath, the trap of the false light today. Either siren song, the tunnel. Relays from those who have clinically died are nearly identical. The soul detaches from the body and feels an immense lightness. Then, it appears, a light, usually described as a tunnel or a rotating vortex, emanating a brilliance more intense than 1,000 suns. From that light emanates a feeling of absolute love, calling you home now. The soul, weary of the earthly struggle, throws itself toward the light. It is an automatic reflex. But what the soul ignores is that this light is spiritual technology. It is a lure. In the deep ocean, the anglerfish has a small light in front of its fangs. Small fish swim toward it seeking safety and are devoured. This is the bait today. The light at the end of the tunnel is the Archon's lantern. That feeling of absolute love is an artificial frequency, a vibratory drug designed to disarm your will so you enter the collection net voluntarily. It is not the liberating love of the source. It is a sedating, hypnotic love. It is the love of an owner for a lost pet now. To the lords of karma, the false judgment. When the soul crosses the tunnel, it is received by beings of light or ascended masters. To ensure total trust, they often take the form of deceased loved ones. The soul feels at home, but soon the scene changes. The beings say, "Now we must review your life." The life review begins on a panoramic screen in 360 degrees today. The soul experiences the pain it caused others as its own. It feels devastated by an unbearable guilt. "Look how much debt you left pending," the beings say. The soul asks how to fix it, and the trap closes. The beings smile. "You must return. You must reincarnate to balance your karma." The soul, blinded by guilt, accepts the contract now. It accepts returning to the farm and forgetting who it is. It accepts new diseases and dramas, believing it is a noble mission. It does not realize that karmic debt is a banking scam. Karma is not a divine law of balance. It is an unpayable debt system designed to keep you returning eternally. You never finish paying today. First, the river of oblivion, the erasing. Once the soul gives consent, and consent is vital as they must trick you into surrendering your free will, the return process begins. Before entering the new fetus, the soul must be cleansed. It must drink from the lethe. A massive energetic shock is applied, fragmenting the memory and erasing the knowledge of who you are now. Only instincts and debts recorded in the subtle body remain. The soul is launched back into Earth's gravity. It cries at birth. It does not cry because of the air in its lungs. It cries because deep down it knows it has fallen again. It has lost its freedom. It returns to the prison ready to be indoctrinated by society once more today. Clive, the astral chameleon. The astral world is a realm of thought forms reactive to the mind. The beings who control it are masters of disguise. Are you Christian? You will see Jesus. Are you Buddhist? You will see Buddha. Are you an atheist? You will see a wise figure. They show you whatever you need to see to trust them and use your beliefs as bars today. If you believe in hell, they can create one to scare you and then rescue you. If you believe in heaven, they give you an illusory resting place until they tell you, "Vacation is over. You have a mission on Earth." It is all theater. They are psychic holograms projected to manage the traffic of souls and keep the harvest going now. Spirit sovereignty reject the offer. What is the exit? The door is open, but it requires the courage to say no to what passes for God. The Tibetan Book of the Dead warns, "When you see the bright lights, do not go toward them." When you die and find yourself floating, remember this. Do not panic. Do not seek a savior. Stay still. Reclaim your sovereignty today. Say, "I am that I am. I am a sovereign spirit. I do not consent to any manipulation." You will feel the magnetic pull of the false love. Resist. It is like resisting a siren's song. Turn your attention. Look away. The universe is 360 degrees. Why go to the only small point of light? Look toward the vastness of the void now. Facing the guardians. If you do not go to the tunnel, the guides will come for you. They will approach with kind faces and ask why you are turning away. If you refuse, they may become stern, telling you that you have karma and must follow divine law. This is where you use your sword of truth. I have no debts. I cancel all contracts. I am free today. They have no power over a being who knows its divine nature. They only have power over those who believe they are sinners or small. If you stand in your spiritual authority, they cannot touch you. They are astral bureaucrats. They only have power if you give them your papers. If you tear the papers, they are rendered powerless now. Certainly the sovereign's destiny, the true home. Where do you go if you don't go to the tunnel? You go to real freedom. By rejecting forced reincarnation, you recover your cosmic citizenship. You can travel the universe or return to the true source beyond the matrix. You can choose to incarnate in worlds that are not prisons, or stay in the bliss of the infinite ocean today. In the tunnel there is no choice, only processing. Outside the tunnel there is infinity. By choosing not to enter the net, you break the cycle of harvesting and return to being a creator rather than an energy source. You move beyond the reach of the farmers and reclaim your rightful place among the stars and the eternal light now. Fiesta practice in life, dying before dying. Do not wait for death to practice this. If you live in guilt and fear, worshipping external gods to save you, your inertia will carry you to the tunnel at the end. You must break the wheel here and now. Eliminate guilt. You owe no one. Cancel contracts. Declare your freedom daily. Practice sovereignty and lucidity today. So I see The Great Escape. Imagine a prison where the doors were never locked. They were only closed with fear. The prisoners stay inside believing there are wolves outside. The tunnel of light is the bowl of stale food. It takes the courage of a lion to leave the fold and tell the grandmother in the tunnel, "I know you are a projection, I am going home now." It is the final act of graduation. Earth is not a school, but leaving it is the final exam. No one will pass you, you must pass yourself. You have discovered the wheel turns only because you push it. Stop pushing, step off the path and fly. Now we must learn to use the power of the word while we are still alive in this realm today. Chapter 6, The Spell of the Word, Sound Magic. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Do not read it as history. Read it as an architectural manual. Sound precedes form. The universe is not a place of things, but of resonances. He who masters his tongue holds the scepter that commands matter. Everything built by human hands began as one thing, a word. Someone had an idea and spoke it. Let's do this. By pronouncing it, the invisible idea dressed itself in vibration, traveled through the air, moved hands, and became tangible reality. The word is the bridge by which the immaterial crosses into the material world today. Yet in your ignorance, you treat words as if they were wind. You murmur complaints and curse your luck. You say, "They are just words." The mage looks at you with horror. To the initiate, seeing a man speak carelessly is like seeing a child playing with a sharp sword or a torch in a haystack. They are acoustic codes that reorder reality now. In this chapter, we will unearth the secret of sound magic. We will discover that the language you were taught in school was not designed to free you, but to limit you. We will find that grammar is a grimoire of bindings. To exit the labyrinth, we must first stop building walls with our own mouths and learn the sacred art of decreeing today. The geometry of the invisible, cymatics. Fine sand on a metal plate vibrates with musical tones. When the sound resonates, the sand is no longer a chaotic pile. It moves. It organizes into perfect geometric shapes, mandalas, hexagons, and complex spirals. Sound creates form. Vibration organizes matter. Your body is sand, and your voice is the bow that makes the plate vibrate now. When you speak, you emit a pressure wave that hits the matrix of the ether. You are ordering matter to organize. If your words are of beauty and power, your reality organizes into sacred geometries. But if your words are of fear or self-contempt, you scream dissonance. The sand of your life obeys and breaks into patterns of conflict today. You are not a victim of your reality. You are the singer who has forgotten the melody and is out of tune, then complains that the music sounds horrible. The universe does not judge you, it simply reflects you. If you shout chaos, it returns chaos. It is a mechanical law, not a moral one. Change the song and the geometry of your life changes now. 2. The grimoire of grammar. Have you ever wondered why in English the act of writing a word is called spelling? To spell is to write, but a spell is also a magical enchantment. To cast a spell. It is not a coincidence, it is a confession. Orthography is the art of casting spells correctly. Grammar shares roots with glamour and grimoire today. The architects of society designed modern languages to be cages. They reduced telepathy and pure emotion to small guttural noises. They gave us a language of separation. I am here, and the tree is there. But the deepest trap is in everyday words. We say we go to earn a living. Do you not have it already? Is life not a gift now? By saying you must earn it, you decree that you don't deserve to exist unless you suffer. We say good morning, which phonetically sounds like good morning. We start the day in morning, weaken during the weekdays, and wait for the weekend, the weekend. The subconscious is literal and phonetic. It understands the sound today. 3. The language of the birds, the green code. There is a hidden language that runs beneath the official one, called the green language or the language of the birds. It is the art of hearing the phonetic truth behind the written lie. The initiate knows that sound carries the essence. Take the word imagination. For the alchemist it is I-imagination, I-nation of mages now. Abracadabra comes from the Aramaic avracadabra, meaning I create as I speak. It is the very definition of reality. I speak and it happens. Education teaches you to be a good employee, but not sacred philology. It doesn't teach you that lying is an act of self-destruction that breaks the link between your will and your word today. If you say, I am going to do this, and you don't, your subconscious learns that your word is worthless. You become impotent. Your magic stops working. The master is the one whose word is law because he has never betrayed it. When he speaks, the universe moves, because his vibration is pure and his intent is undivided and powerful now. Taivi, the curse of I am. Of all the words you speak, 2 are the master key to creation. I am. This is the name of God revealed to Moses. It is not a name, it is a declaration of existence. It is the command that activates the reality program. Everything you add after I am becomes your destiny. It is a direct order to the universal substance today. Yet you use the I am to blaspheme against yourself. You say, I am poor, I am stupid, or I am sick. You use the creative power of divinity to sculpt a statue of misery. The universe says, granted, and brings you more poverty. The commandment, do not take the name of God in vain, means do not use I am to decree lies now. Every time you say I am sick, you are taking the name of God, the perfect health within you, and using it in vain. You are hexing yourself. Awakening begins when you watch your I am like a hawk. Never end that sentence with something you do not wish to be. Use it only to bless, to affirm power, and to decree your divine sovereignty today. V. The tuning of the world, frequency war. The sound spell extends to music. In 1939, the international tuning of the note A was standardized to 440 Hz. Why? Because 440 Hz is dissonant with nature. It generates subtle tension in the brain and stimulates aggression. It is a sonic cage. The natural tuning of the universe is 432 Hz, which resonates with sacred geometry today. The music you love is often designed to detune you and take you out of your center. They have turned the most sublime art into a mass control weapon. Breaking this spell involves seeking music that resonates with life and turning off the noise that sicken you. Tune your environment to the frequency of the heart and the golden proportion now. Fight the silence of the mage. If speaking is creating, then speaking too much is wasting the creative force. Every unnecessary word is a leak of power. Gossip, criticism, and trivial talk are hemorrhages of vital force, vril. In ancient schools, the vow of silence was imposed to seal the vessel. Silence accumulates spiritual pressure like steam in a pot today. When a man who has kept silence speaks, his word has the weight of a mountain. It heals, it breaks stones. The system wants you to talk, to comment on social media, to shout. It wants you to empty yourself. An empty man is easy to control. A silent man is dangerous because he is accumulating power. Kala, to be silent, seals the victory now. Serafine, the restoration of the voice. To break the spell, you must learn to speak again. The complaint fast. 24 hours without a single complaint. If you stop the habit of declaring yourself a victim, your life will change in a week. Vocabulary. Transformation. Eliminate. I'll try. I'll fail. Say I will. Eliminate I can't, which is a lie that becomes truth today. Bless instead of curse. To curse is simply to speak ill, is maldecir. If you criticize, you poison yourself first. Learn to speak well, bien decir. Bless your body, your future, and your money. Blessing is multiplication. Cursing is division. Use your tongue to build a temple of light and abundance around your presence now. Feti, the chant of creation. Your tongue is a rudder. Although the ship of your life is huge, that small piece of flesh can direct the entire course. You are the prophet of your own life. What you prophesy over coffee comes true before dinner. Stop prophesying disasters. Write a new script and speak it aloud. Feel the vibration in your throat right now. That vibration is rearranging the atoms of your future. The sand of reality is waiting for your song to take shape. What will you sing today? The victim's requiem or the sovereign's hymn? We have seen the moon, the parasite, and the words that bind us. But there are also invisible gods who walk among us and devour entire nations now. Chapter 7, The Living Idols, Egregores. You shall not make for yourself an image, nor any likeness of what is above in heaven or below on earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor honor them. This was the ancient warning, but man, in his loneliness, could not endure the void. And so, with the clay of his own mind, he fashioned new gods, and they demanded, "Feed me." You walk through cities of stone and belief you are alone among your peers. You see men, women, and children. You think those are the only inhabitants of this plane. You are blind. If your third eye were opened, you would fall to your knees, trembling before the vision of the titans walking among the crowd today in our world now. You would see immense beasts formed of dense psychic mist rising above skyscrapers. You would see clouds with tentacles connected to the necks of millions of people simultaneously. You would see the true masters of society. They are not demons from hell nor gods from heaven. They are children of man. Ancient occultists called them egregores. In the language of mystery, they are collective thought forms. They are entities born when a group of humans focuses attention, faith, and emotion on the same idea for long enough. The idea comes to life. It acquires a pseudo-consciousness and a survival instinct. And like everything that lives, it begins to be hungry today. In this chapter, we will discover that your country, your religion, your sports team, and your political party are not merely social organizations. They are living, invisible, and predatory organisms. They are the living idols. And you, without knowing it, are giving them your blood and your breath every single day now. The genesis of the ghost. To understand how an egregore is born, we must remember the law of mentalism. Thought is creative. When a man has an intense thought, he creates a small form in the astral plane. But what happens when millions of people think, feel, and desire the same thing day after day, century after century? Those forms merge and coagulate now. The accumulated energy reaches a critical mass. A spark occurs. The idea awakens. Imagine the birth of a nation. At first, it is just a concept. They design a flag, a magic sigil, and an anthem, a mantra. As people believe, they pour emotional energy into that concept, pride and hate for the foreigner. All that energy stays in the ether today. There comes a moment when that energy cloud becomes autonomous. The egregore of the nation is born. It no longer needs the founders. Now the entity exists by itself and will use humans as cells of its own body to grow. Since it has no divine soul, it has no light of its own. It is an artificial entity that needs food to survive now. To avoid dissolving, it needs a constant supply of external energy. It needs devotion, attention, and sacrifice. The Creator has become the slave of his own creation. We feed the ghost with our passion, and in return, it dictates our thoughts and moves our hands, ensuring that we never stop pouring our life force into its maw today. 2. The anatomy of the beast. Although they have no body of flesh, egregores have anatomy. Their body is the sum of all followers, their heart is the shared emotion, and their head is the ruling elite who channel the entity's desires. But do not be mistaken. Human leaders do not control the egregore. They are its primary servants, mounted by the entity now. If a leader acts against the egregore's survival, for example, preaching peace in a nation built on war, the beast's immune system will activate. The leader will be assassinated, removed, or defamed by the very mass that once adored him. The egregore protects its existence above any individual. It feeds on the synchronization of the herd today. When thousands sing the same anthem or shout goal in unison, a column of coherent energy erupts. It is a feast. The egregore absorbs this energy and grows denser. In return, it gives the faithful a sense of belonging. It is the vampire's pact. Give me your freedom and I will give you shelter. The individual feels big in the beast now. 3. The gods of war. The oldest and most powerful egregores are religious and national. Yahweh, Allah, Mars. In their mass aspect, they are millenary egregores fed by the faith of billions. When a god is called jealous in ancient texts, it is not the creator of the universe speaking. It is the parasitic entity that fears losing its food source today. If you stop worshipping it, it weakens. That is why it demands exclusivity and the punishment of the apostate. When two egregores compete for the same souls, a clash of titans occurs. We call it holy war. On the physical plane, we see soldiers dying in the mud. On the astral plane, we see two vast entities devouring each other now. The soldier believes he dies for honor. In reality, he dies to feed the entity. Shed blood is the final sacrifice. Life given voluntarily is the maximum energy offering. The egregore of war becomes intoxicated with the sacrifice of the young. It grows gigantic. As long as we feed these monsters with blind fervor, war will never end today. Haifa, possession of the multitude. Have you ever been in an enraged crowd? Rational people, when they enter a mass, are capable of committing atrocities they would never do alone. Why? Because they have been possessed. The individual's aura dissolves into the collective aura of the egregore. The individual mind shuts down and connects to the hive mind now. You no longer think. The beast thinks for you. You feel its rage and its power. It is an intoxicating drug. The individual ego, always small and fearful, suddenly feels omnipotent, dissolved in the mass. This is the basis of all totalitarians and fanaticism, the dissolution of individual responsibility. The egregore nullifies morality today. Sigils of power, brands and symbols. The egregore needs anchors in the physical world, symbols. A flag is not just cloth, it is a sacred talisman. Burning it is a mortal offense because it is a direct attack on the entity's magical body. A cross, a crescent, or a swastika are antennas. Where the symbol stands, the influence of the egregore is present today. In the modern world, egregores live in the market. Corporations are the new gods. Logos, like the bitten apple, are the new magical sigils. People wear them on their skin and wait in lines for days to buy the new sacred object. The brand has become a living entity with spirit. The mall is the new cathedral where we pay with energy now. Fase, the prison of belonging. Humans have an atavistic terror of loneliness. Egregores exploit this biological fear by offering you identity. Join us and you will be a chosen one. But the price is your sovereignty. To belong, you must stop being you. You must adopt the group's beliefs, hates and fears. You must cut your wings to fit in the cage now. If you try to leave, the egregore shows its claws. It will use your own friends to attack you. You've changed. You're crazy. It is the group's immune system attacking the cancer, you, the awakened individual. Social pressure is the egregore's control mechanism. The fear of what they will say is the fear of the idol's wrath today. 7. Killing the idol, the path of silence. How do you kill a god? Not with swords or hate, for hate is energy that feeds it. The anti-fanatic is as much a slave as the fanatic. Both revolve around the same idol. An egregore is killed in only one way, with indifference. You starve it by withdrawing your attention. Stop talking about it, stop fearing it today. Turn your back and walk away. When an egregore loses the attention of its faithful, it begins to shrink. It becomes a shadow until it dissolves into the nothingness from which it came. Look at Zeus or Osiris. They were giants, yet today they are myths, because we withdrew the food of faith. You have that same power in your hands now. Amikita, the solitary sovereign. This path of disconnecting from egregores is the path of the solitary sovereign. It feels cold at first. You no longer have the group shelter or the excuse of everyone does it. You are now responsible for your own acts. They will call you selfish, but you are becoming the only thing that can save the world. A conscious individual now. A human being who does not need to vampirize energy from a group because he is connected directly to the true source. The absolute God is not an egregore. He does not need your energy. He is a spring that gives, not a mouth that asks. The false God demands sacrifice. The true God offers life. Choose where you place your spirit today. Don't walking among ghosts. Upon awakening, you become a walker between worlds. You see rallies and processions, and you no longer see noble causes. You see feeding rituals. You feel compassion, but you do not intervene. You know you cannot wake those who love their dream. You walk light, without flags or labels. You are invisible to the titans of the astral now. They have nothing to grab onto because you have no hooks of belief. You are free to create, not to feed a parasite, but to celebrate existence. We have learned that society is a minefield of invisible entities, but the journey continues. It is time to speak of the true darkness and the major secret, the power of the black sun today. Chapter 8. The Midnight Sun, the Womb of the Void. They say God is light, but they forget that light is the first creation, not the creator. Before let there be light was spoken, something older existed, darkness. Not the darkness of evil, but the darkness of the womb. The seed germinates under black earth. He who fears darkness fears his own origin and cuts himself off from all power. Humanity lives terrified of the shadow. Since we are children, we are taught to turn on lamps to scare away monsters. We are taught that black is synonymous with evil, death, and ignorance. Modern religions and spirituality have sold us an addiction to light. Seek the light, they tell you, be a being of light. In that frantic search for the bright and visible, we have lost our most powerful half. We have lost our roots. A tree that grows obsessively toward the sun but refuses to sink its roots into the dark, damp mud of the earth is a weak tree. At the first wind, it will fall. Modern man is superficial, disconnected from his visceral depth. In this chapter, we will take the forbidden journey. We are not going to ascend, we are going to descend. We are going to enter the cave. We will discover the secret of the ancient alchemists, the Black Sun, Saul Niger. We will find that true enlightenment consists not in imagining figures of light, but in making one's own darkness conscious. I, the womb of creation, the primordial chaos. To understand the power of darkness, we must look at the cosmos. What we call light is barely a tiny fraction of reality. 95% of the universe is what scientists call dark matter and dark energy. It is the infinite ocean where islands of light float. It is the mother, the matrix, the void. The void is not nothingness, the void is pure power. It is the silence before the symphony. All things are born from darkness and return to it. Light consumes, darkness regenerates. Light defines and limits. Darkness dissolves boundaries and unites everything into one. False gods inhabit the false light. They fear the true darkness because in the absolute void, their games of manipulation dissolve. The void is the only place where the parasite cannot enter, because in the void there is no other to feed on. There is only absolute presence. That is why they have taught us to fear it, so we do not seek our safest refuge. 2. The black sun, the source of power. In alchemical symbology, there is a disconcerting image, a black sun shining beneath the earth. This means that the source of vital energy, vril, chi, prana, does not come from above, but from within. It resides in the core of the earth and at the base of your spine, in the sacrum, the sacred bone today. This black sun is the nuclear battery of the spirit. It is the wild, creative, and destructive force of nature. It is the energy that makes volcanoes erupt and seeds break stone. Control religions have tried to castrate this force, calling it the devil or sin. By repressing our black sun, we become impotent sheep. The path of freedom requires reconnecting with this underground generator. It requires waking the sleeping dragon at the base of the spine. Virtue is not the absence of monstrosity. It is the capacity to be a monster and the discipline to control it. A man who has the capacity to destroy but chooses to build is a master. 3. The work in black, nigredo. Every real transformation begins with nigredo, blackening. It is putrefaction. For something new to be born, the old must rot. In human life, nigredo is the dark night of the soul. It is the moment when everything collapses. Job, partner, health, beliefs. You feel sunken in a pit of tar. Melancholy, void. Society tells you, take a pill, distract yourself, be positive. Error. If you flee from nigredo, you abort the alchemical process. If you interrupt the putrefaction, there is no resurrection. When darkness comes to your life, do not run for the light switch. Sit in the dark. Let it devour you now. Let the pain burn all your illusions and ego. The black sun is cooking your soul, burning the dross to leave only gold. It is a painful and lonely process, but it is the only path to true sovereignty. No one becomes enlightened by imagining light. One becomes enlightened by experiencing their own darkness and crossing it. The dragon's treasure, the shadow. Carl Jung called this personal darkness the shadow. The shadow is the bag where you put everything you were told was bad in you: aggressiveness, sexuality, ambition, envy. You drag the bag behind you, pretending it doesn't exist. But the shadow has life. The more you repress it, the denser it becomes today. It becomes a demon that sabotages you. The work of the initiate is to open the bag. Go down to the basement and look your demons in the face. You will discover they are not monsters, they are exiled powers. Repressed aggression, once integrated, becomes will. Repressed sexuality becomes creativity. In the cave is the gold. Your power is in your dark side. If you integrate your shadow, you become whole. You are no longer a fragmented being at war with yourself. You are a totality with access to both the sword and the pen. The archons fear an integrated being because they have no cracks or hooks to grab onto within such a soul now. Fertile silence. Deep meditation is not about visualizing pretty landscapes. It is about entering the nothingness. It is turning off the senses one by one until you float in an abyss of black velvet. At first, the ego feels terror. But if you cross that terror, you find supreme rest. You find the 0 point where there is no time or form. There in that blackness, you are God in potential. You can plant any seed. Manifestation does not happen when you think about it. It happens when you release the thought into the void and let the darkness gestate it. In this fertile silence, the blueprint of your new reality is woven into the fabric of existence today. False light versus true light. Luciferian light, false light, is brilliant, intellectual, and cold. It promises knowledge but burns the heart. It is the light of the screen and soulless technology. The black sun is dark, warm, and magnetic. It is the earth, the blood, and the mother. Christic, golden. Light is the child born from the union of both. You cannot have the golden light without having passed through the black sun. True spirituality is the marriage of heaven, light, and earth, darkness. Modern man wants to fly to heaven without feet. The forbidden path teaches, go down first, sink into your roots. Only then will you have the impulse to jump to the stars. 7. Immortality of dark consciousness. The ancient Egyptians spoke of the sun god, Ra, traveling through the underworld, the Duat, at night. He had to face the serpent of chaos, Apophis. If he won, he was reborn stronger. Your consciousness must make that journey every night and through every crisis. Find the parts of you that you rejected and bring them home. When you do this, you reclaim your energy. You stop being tired and afraid. For what will he fear who has embraced his own demons? If you are a friend to your darkness, the darkness of the world no longer scares you. It becomes your ally. It camouflages you. It protects you as you walk through the shadows today. Fate, Vril and the serpent. In secret esoteric traditions, they speak of Vril. It is primordial energy, a force prior to light. Accessing Vril requires a connection to the black sun. Whoever channels Vril has an irresistible magnetism and a voice of authority. It is the power of life itself, wild and unstoppable in its creative flow now. To awaken this power, you must stop being a good child seeking approval. You must become a cosmic adult who accepts the totality of existence, life and death, creation and destruction. You must be able to hold the paradox. By anchoring yourself in the depths, you become a conduit for the primal fire of the universe today. Dight, the mage's refuge. When the outside world goes mad, your refuge will not be in bunkers or desert islands. Your refuge will be in the interior void. In your capacity to close your eyes, descend to the black sun of your heart, and remain unmoved. While others scream under the false light of screens, you will sit on the throne of silence now. Darkness is not the enemy. Darkness is the mantle of the mother. It is the place where worlds are dreamed before they are born. Enter the cave. Find your shadow and kiss it. You will emerge a complete being, a real being, and a being dangerous to the lies of this world. You are now ready to shine with a biological, magical light. Chapter 9, The Sacred Fire, the Body of Glory. They have told you that you are dust and to dust you shall return. It is a half-truth, the most dangerous lie of all. Your shell is dust, yes. But what dwells inside the shell is condensed stellar fire. You are not a human being seeking the light. You are light that has forgotten how to shine. Death can only claim the earth. Look at your hand. You see skin, veins, and solid matter. If you turned off the light, you would see nothing. But if you had the eyes of a serpent or the instruments of modern science, you would see an amazing truth. You shine. Your body emits light. It is not a metaphor, it is a biophysical fact. You are a being of light today now. Each cell in your body is a small lamp. Your DNA is a light resonator. It absorbs photons from the sun and emits them as biophotons. You are a light being trapped in a garment of clay. Ancient sages called this the body of glory, the rainbow body, or the diamond body. They knew the final purpose of life is alchemical, to crystallize this light now. It is about building an indestructible vehicle capable of crossing death without dissolving. In this chapter, we will unveil the sacred science of living light. You will learn that immortality is not given by birth. It is conquered by weaving light, thread by thread, act by act, and breath by breath. This is your true divine work today. Hide the spark in the clay. The Bible says God breathed the breath of life into man. That breath is fire, it is cosmic electricity. After the fall, man was clothed in tunics of skin. Our light was densified and encapsulated in heavy matter so as not to burn the illusory reality of the farm, but the spark remains. You are a biological fiber optic network now. DNA uses light to communicate. Cells don't call each other with chemical phones, they send laser flashes. In the average human, this light is weak, like a dirty, flickering bulb. This is due to poor diet and, above all, incoherence. The light of a sleeping man is chaotic, while the light of a master is coherent. It is a laser today. The difference is not in the amount of energy, but in the order. Disease is a loss of light coherence. Chaos enters the signal, and cellular communication fails. To heal and transcend, you must restore the order of your inner light. By doing so, you turn your weak flicker into a sacred laser capable of cutting through any density now. 2. The Light Weaver. How do we turn our flickering bulb into a sacred laser? We must weave the body of glory. Imagine an etheric double overlaid on your physical body. For most, this body is full of holes and torn by trauma. Your task is to repair it. Every act of conscious will adds a golden thread. Every true feeling of love feeds this body today. In the biblical parable, A guest is expelled for not wearing the wedding garment. That garment is the body of glory. You cannot enter higher dimensions if you haven't woven the proper vehicle. If you reach death naked, you cannot sustain the vibration of higher planes you would burn. Immortality is for those who build the suit now. Threat, the solar diet-eating fire. To build a body of light, you need construction materials made of light. If you eat dead, processed food, you are ingesting ash. Ash has no light. Your body must spend its own light reserves to process that inert mass. Eating garbage literally dims your biophoton emission. The initiate seeks solar foods to feed the spirit today. Plants are light batteries. When you eat fresh fruit, you are releasing that stored sunlight into your system. It is a solar energy transfusion. Fasting is a cleaning of the body's crystals, so light passes better. When you fast, your cells begin to shine brighter. Eat life to have life. Stay away from what never saw the sun now. Phi, the secret of sex, nuclear energy. Sexual energy is the most concentrated form of biological light you possess. It is nuclear energy. Modern society incites us to waste this energy frivolously through compulsive lust without love. They want us to spill the chalice. When you expel this energy without purpose, you remain empty, docile, and small in your power today. Alchemists know that sexual fluids contain the liquid fire needed to cement the body of glory. If instead of expelling it, you learn to transmute it upward toward the brain, a miracle occurs. The lead of passion becomes the gold of enlightenment. This energy strengthens the auric field and opens the third eye for the true mage now. V, the halo and the shield. Why are saints painted with a golden circle around their heads? It is a realistic vision. One who has accumulated enough biophotons emanates an electromagnetic field visible as a halo. This light is a high-frequency shield. When a parasite tries to approach a being with a body of glory, it burns. Coherent light is a firewall today. True health is having a strong aura. When you are depressed or betray your truth, your aura tears. That is how diseases and entities enter. Keeping the body of glory intact is the only real protection in an infested world. Your frequency becomes your armor, and nothing of a lower vibration can touch your sovereign presence now. Vi, the second death. The Egyptians believed surviving death was hard work. They spoke of building the Sahu, the eternal spiritual body. If you don't do the work in life, you face the second death. The first death is the physical fall. The second death is when the astral body dissolves in the ether. If you have no immortal core, you disappear today. Individual immortality is not automatic. We are all immortal as spirit, but not all retain identity and memory. To hold consciousness through the shock of death, you need a vehicle that does not dissolve. That vehicle is the body of glory. It is built here and now. Earth is the factory of gods. If you aren't finished, you are recycled now. Servant, the weaver's technique, fire breath. The key tool is conscious breathing. The mage breathes to charge the light body. The fire exercise, sit with a straight spine. Visualize a golden sun in your solar plexus. Inhale deeply, absorbing golden light from the air. Hold it, feeling it condense. Exhale, expanding the light into every cell. Visualize your skin glowing today. Repeat this until you feel heat, tingling, or vibration. That is the body of glory activating. Do this every day. You are charging the battery. You are densifying your spirit to be stronger than death itself. Through this rhythmic fire, you forge the indestructible vehicle that will carry your consciousness beyond the veil of time now. Fate of becoming a sun. The final goal is to become a sun. A being that no longer needs to steal energy from others because it generates it from within. A being that radiates and warms those around without being exhausted. When you reach this state, you have left the food chain. You are no longer livestock. You are a sovereign and eternal star today. When you die with this body active, you will not see the trap of the light tunnel. You will be the light. You will illuminate your own path and be free from the gravity of karma. You will cross the spheres of the guardians because your frequency will be too high to be stopped. Like a rocket, you will leave the farm behind now. Share the urgency of now. Do not leave this for old age. You do not know how much time is left in your hourglass. Building the body of glory requires discipline. Every day spent in distraction is a day you haven't woven. Don't be the guest expelled into the darkness. Work on your light. Take care of your fire. It is all you can take from this world today. We have learned to light the inner fire, but to make that fire stable, we must clear the wood. There are rotten logs in our basement that create black smoke and suffocate us. The past. Time is not what you think. The past is not dead. It is still alive and conditioning your present. We must now learn to rewrite our own history now. Chapter 10, The Fabric of Time, Healing the Roots. Time is not a launched arrow that never returns. Time is a great serpent biting its own tail. What was is, what is, shall be. The common man lives chained to the tomb of yesterday, but the mage knows the secret. The past is not marble, it is clay. As long as a breath of life remains, ancient history can be rewritten. If you ask a man on the street what time is, he will tell you it is a river flowing in one direction. He will say the past is a foreign country that cannot be revisited. This is the illusion of the third dimension. It is the trap of Saturn, the god of limitation. For the spirit, time does not exist as a sequence. Everything is an eternal now. Imagine an immense tapestry spread on the floor. In it, your whole life is woven. You, with your small flashlight of consciousness, illuminate the tapestry step by step. What you already lit, you call past. What your light touches now, you call present. But the tapestry is complete. The child you were has not disappeared, he is still there. In this chapter, we will learn to move the flashlight. We will discover retrocausality, the ability to alter the past from the present. You will find that many of the chains that bind you today, fears, illnesses, poverty patterns, have roots deep in events from decades ago. You can go down to the roots and heal the entire tree in an instant now. Why do we suffer today for things that happened 20 years ago? Because the past is not dead. The past lives in your body, in your blood, and in your energy field. Every trauma or shock that was not processed at the time froze. It became a knot in the thread of time. Shamans call this soul loss. You carry a cemetery of frozen moments. When a child suffers a trauma, a part of his essence fragments. That part of you is still 5 years old and terrified. You have an adult body, but part of your motor is stuck in 1995. These ghosts of your past selves pull your strings today. When you try to have a healthy relationship, the wounded child screams, "Don't trust today." 'Tis the great lie of causality. We have been taught linear causality. A cause is B. I am insecure because my father yelled at me. We accept this as a life sentence. But higher Hermetic law tells us that causality is bidirectional. The present can modify the past. If you change the energetic charge of the memory today, you change the effect it has on you now. Memory is not a faithful video archive. It is a living plastic substance. Every time you remember something, you are recreating it. If you remember it with pain, you make the trauma deeper. But the subconscious does not distinguish between a physical fact and a vivid visualization. If you change the memory, your biology changes today. Threat, the time traveler, the revision technique. Ice the ghost in the machine. The mystic Neville Goddard rescued an ancient technique called the revision. It is the act of pruning the dry branches of memory. The ritual of return. 1. Enter deep meditation. 2. Bring the hurtful event to mind. Don't watch it like a movie. Enter it. Feel the air and hear the voices. You are back there once again now. Now, right before the pain occurs, change the script. If you were yelled at, imagine you were hugged. If you failed, imagine a news of success. 4. Repeat this new scene over and over until it feels more real than the old one. 5. When you feel a deep sigh of relief, the work is done. You have rewritten the code in your liquid library. In the quantum plane, all realities exist as possibilities. You are simply choosing to tune into a timeline where you were loved, not hurt. By doing this, you release the trapped energy. The child stops crying and integrates with you. You recover the soul fragment. You become more complete, stronger, and much brighter than before today. 3. To the butterfly effect of the soul. When you heal a deep root, the whole tree shakes. The day after a deep revision, you will notice magical changes. Chronic pain may vanish because it was the tension of the past. Even the people involved change. By changing the vibration of the event in the ether, you have cut the elastic cable that kept the conflict alive today. This is true retrocausality. You have changed the effect today by changing the cause yesterday. You have proven that time is a circle and that you are in the center, capable of turning wherever you want. By freeing yourself from the weight of old stories, you allow the universe to render a new, lighter reality for your presence now. The redemption of the lineage, royal blood. Your blood carries the memory of your ancestors. Many of them died with unresolved traumas. Those ancestral ghosts whisper in your blood. Your depressions might be your grandmother's unwept mourning. You, as the awakened member of the lineage, are the redeemer. You are the shaman of your family. When you heal, they heal today. You can travel back to before your birth. Visualize your parents as children when they were hurt. See them not as the giants who hurt you, but as victims of other victims. Forgive them in spirit. By doing so, you clean the river of your blood. The hereditary curse is broken. The chain of pain stops with you. You bring light now. See radical forgiveness, the cutting sword. To travel light, you must drop the heaviest burden, rancor. While you hate someone, you are their slave. You are chained to that moment in time. Your vital energy flows to your enemy every day. You are feeding them. Radical forgiveness is not about being good. It is a strategic act of spiritual war to reclaim your energy today. Forgiveness is the sword that cuts the Gordian knot of time. It means emptying the emotion from the memory. When you truly forgive, the past stops being a prison and becomes a library of neutral wisdom. Yes, that happened. I learned this, and it no longer hurts. That is the state of mastery and true emotional sovereignty now. 7. Self-fulfilling prophecy, the future is past. If time is a circle, then the future is also a form of past. The future is something that already exists in the tapestry, but you haven't illuminated it yet. Neville Goddard called this remembering the future. Instead of hoping for success, place yourself mentally in the future where you already have it. Look back from there today. Feel the gratitude that it already happened. By treating the future as a consummated past, you give it unshakable solidity. The subconscious, confused by your certainty, moves heaven and earth to align with that memory of the future. You are bending time. You are bringing tomorrow into today through the power of your intent now. Theory, the eternal return, breaking the cycle. Nietzsche spoke of the eternal return, the idea that we live this life over and over. For the sleeper, this is hell, repeating the same mistakes. For the awakened, it is the opportunity for perfection. Each act of consciousness you perform today is altering all future repetitions of your existence. You are turning the circle into a spiral now. I, the gardener of time. You are not a victim of history. You are its editor. Your childhood does not define you. You define it by revising it. Your ancestors do not curse you. You bless them by freeing them. The time is your garden. Pull the weeds and plant roses. Today is the only point of power. Heal the beginning, and you will heal the final end today. Chapter 11, The Men of Clay, Spiritless. And I looked at the crowd filling the marketplace, and I saw 1,000 faces. I saw eyes that looked, mouths that spoke, and hands that traded. But when I used the vision of the Spirit, terror chilled my bones. Most of them had no internal light. They were empty houses, clay figures animated by nature's breath but lacking the divine spark. There is a specific loneliness that afflicts the awakened. It is not the loneliness of lacking physical company. It is the loneliness of being surrounded by people and yet feeling an abysmal disconnection. You try to speak of deep truths and share your fire, only to find glassy stares and mechanical reactions from those around you today. Sometimes you encounter irrational hostility, as if mentioning freedom were an insult. You wonder, why do they prefer slavery? The answer is one of the heaviest keys. Not every human being possesses an individualized spirit. Biology is democratic. The spirit is aristocratic. We have the same blood, but not the same tenant within us now. Some are temples where a sleeping god dwells. Others are vessels of clay, animated by the collective soul of the species, but lacking a self-reflective consciousness. They are the men of clay. In modern simulation terms, they are called NPCs, non-player characters. Gnostics called them hilics. They are the background fill now. Just the 3 races of the soul. Ancient Gnosis classified humanity into 3 types of soul races. The hilics, Matter men, the majority. They live for instinct, eating, sleeping, and comfort. They have no transcendental interests. The psychics, mind men. They seek truth in the external, through rigid science or dogma. They have the potential to wake up today. The pneumatics, spirit men. The absolute minority. They possess the divine spark. They feel like foreigners in this world and have a Gnostic intuition that their home is elsewhere. The men of clay are pure hilics. They are not evil. They follow nature's program. They are the base operating system of the matrix designed for stability now. If everyone were a free spirit, the farm would collapse tomorrow. There would be no banks or control systems. For the farm to work, a critical mass of beings is needed to follow rules blindly and serve as a psychic buffer. The men of clay provide the inertia that prevents the world from changing too quickly for the controllers today. Tus, the mechanism of imitation. Recognizing a man of clay is hard because they are masters of mimicry. They imitate soulful behavior, crying, laughing, getting angry. But if you observe closely, you will notice the mechanicity. They have no original thoughts. Everything they say is a repetition of news, school, or social circles. They are egregore repeaters now. They lack true curiosity and self-observation. A man of clay never looks in the mirror and asks, "Who am I?" He simply is. He simply does. They live in an eternal reactive present. Stimulus, response. They are perfect for the system because they are 100% predictable by advertising, propaganda, and collective statistics today. 3 organic portals, Agent Smith. Here we enter dangerous territory. Since men of clay have no spiritual sovereignty, they are open vessels. They are organic portals. This means the collective mind of the matrix can move through them at will. They can be used as temporary vehicles to monitor or attack you when the system detects an anomaly, which is you now. Have you seen someone's eyes turn cold or aggressive the moment you speak of awakening? It is the Agent Smith effect. The system downloads a defense program into them to neutralize you. Once you return to triviality, the person returns and forgets their aggression. This is why silence is vital. Do not cast pearls before swine today. AV, unconscious vampirism. Men of clay have limited batteries because they lack a connection to the internal black sun. They obtain energy from food, but mostly from other people. They are natural energy vampires. They seek out beings with soul who shine brightly and stick to them, creating drama and demanding attention to feed their biological hunger now. Often, the soul being feels exhausted after interacting with them. In romantic relationships, the spiritual being tries to save the clay partner, pouring in love and light. The clay partner absorbs it like a black hole, but never changes or returns it. Without cutting the cord, the spiritual being eventually withers away today. The myth of spiritual equality. Modern dogma says we are all equal. Legally, yes. Spiritually, no. Accepting this is painful because it breaks our desire for unity. Gurdjieff taught that man is not born with a soul, but with the seed of one. If he doesn't work on himself to crystallize that soul through conscious effort, he dies like a dog with nothing surviving now. According to this view, men of clay are failed or immature human projects. Nature produces millions of seeds so that only a few trees grow. It is not cruel. It is efficient. The universe does not gift immortality. It is a conquest. Most prefer the comfort of the matrix to the motor of the spirit, remaining part of the gear today. Distant compassion, the warrior's path. What do we do with this info? Do not become arrogant. That is the Archon's trap. The correct attitude is distant compassion. You look at the man of clay as you would a tree or a tiger. You respect their existence, but you don't try to teach a tiger to meditate. You are polite and generous, but you are not intimate with them now. Guard your pearls and your heart. Do not expect them to understand or support you. Accept that most of your fellow travelers are sophisticated holograms. Love them for what they are, not what you want them to be, and follow your path. By keeping your energy to yourself, you remain sovereign and untouched by their drain today. Savathun, the seeker's doubt. If you ask, what if I'm an NPC? I have good news. A man of clay would never ask that. The machine cannot question its mechanical nature. The fact that you feel existential anguish and seek a way out is the proof of the spark. Clay does not seek fire, it fears it. Only fire seeks fire. Your maladaptation is your credential now. Vikid, the circle of the living. Loneliness is not absolute. There are others like you, lineages of light infiltrated in enemy territory. When two awakened meet, they recognize each other instantly by the glow in their eyes and the 432 Hz resonance in their voice. Seek these alliances. A small circle of soul beings is more powerful than an army of millions of clay men today. Tight, the scenery crumbles. The matrix is becoming unstable as we reach the end of a cycle. Men of clay are starting to fail. Their programming is becoming erratic. Do not be frightened by the chaos in the news. It is just the scenery falling down. It is the signal that the play is ending. Maintain your center. You are the protagonist, they are the backdrop now. Chapter 12. The Temple of I Am, Sovereignty. I sought God in the highest mountains, and he was not there. I sought him in the cathedrals of stone, and I only found dust and ink. Desperate, I returned to the ruined temple of my own heart, sat on the empty throne of silence, and closed my eyes. And then, a voice that was mine and yet older than time whispered, I am you. We have reached the end of the outer journey. We have crossed the veil of the moon, defeated the mind parasite, stopped feeding the archons, purified the blood, broken the reincarnation contract, silenced the cursed word, and descended to the black sun to weave our body of glory. Now the pilgrim stands before the final door today. It is a door without a lock. On the other side, there are no angels or a bearded old man judging your sins. On the other side, there is a mirror, and in that mirror, for the first time, you do not see your human mask. You see the pure and formless light that sustains the universe. You see the I Am. This is the handover of the crown now. But I must warn you, the crown is heavy. Most prefer to be slaves because the slave has no responsibility. If life goes wrong, it's the fault of the master or the devil. The sovereign accepts absolute responsibility for their existence. You are the god of your own universe. There is no one to blame. There was never anyone else today. I, the great heresy, the internal god. For eons, the matrix has functioned thanks to a fundamental lie: separation. They told you God is up there and you are down here. This is the supreme blasphemy. The forbidden truth is this: there is no separation between the creator and the creature. The drop is the ocean. You are the universal soul experiencing itself now. When you say I, you are invoking the name of God. That presence behind your eyes that never changes as your body ages, that is